What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new edition of Holding Court here on the First Day Hoops Report YouTube channel. If you guys are new to this part of YouTube, my name is Chris Stevens. I'm First Day Hoops Report founding editor and host of the Holding Court podcast. Hopefully, you all are doing well out there. We are officially in basketball season now, so that's what we're going to be talking about from now until, well, around the clock. We'll talk about basketball, but high school basketball season only goes until the second week of March. But that's where our focus will be. As you guys, if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe because there will be highlights and interviews with coaches and players throughout the season as we do game coverage. Hopefully we'll get into some features as well. And of course, this podcast, which happens to which I produce and drop for you guys every Sunday morning. So if you guys feel like, if you guys can tell, I'm recording this on a Saturday night because I'm just I've had a long day. And you guys are not familiar, I am a reporter with First Day. First Day Hoops Report. That's the name of this channel. But I also work for HBCUsports.com. So, we had a lot of SWAC championship game business to take care of today. We got the Celebration Bowl coming up. That's where the Black College National Championship will be decided between the MEAC and the SWAC champ. So I'm serving two masters, as the old saying goes, trying to, keep a roof over my head and still, provide you guys with coverage for high school basketball, which you come to expect. And I'll talk to you about why that's starting to become an issue, not from a coach, from a team standpoint, but from, the usual suspects a little later on. But first game we went to this week, we saw Ursuline versus, don't forget, all the contact information to follow us on all manners of social media will be in the description below. So if you're new, again, hop on those as well. We keep everything up to date fairly much. And before I get started on the game stuff, the previews will be out this coming Friday, December the 13th. I pushed them back a week because I was trying to get as many stragglers for the for the season preview questionnaire as possible. I got more than half for the boys. I'm still trying to get to half for the girls. So if you see this and you know that you are a coach that has not filled out the First Day Hoops Report season preview questionnaire, I'm looking at you. Please hit us up so I can give you the link to that form so you can fill it out, get it done, and we can have a real proper preview that folks can keep you and bookmark throughout the season so they know what to expect when they go to see their favorite high school teams play. Okay, so first game this week, only game we did this week was Ursuline at St. Elizabeth. And that game to me was important for a couple of reasons, because one, it's rare that you're going to get to see, Ursuline and St. E in state this early in the year. The only thing that kind of bummed me out about it was the same night as Dover Penn boys. And we learned that William Penn, still has some bullets in the chamber. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But as far as Ursuline St. E's go, it's not the same Ursuline team as a year ago. Obviously, you've got some girls that have graduated. Jazz Wesley's graduated. Shamir Marshall Brothers has graduated. Taylor Brown, of course, is at Long Island Lutheran now. But there's still Gigi Banks. And Gigi Banks is just about as good. That's about all you need for the most part. The game just comes so easy to her when she's playing in state, which is why the hot take that I'm going to drop on you guys in a minute is probably going to upset some folks, but we got to be realistic about things. Her talent level is just so far beyond, and it's crazy because she has the God-given athletic ability, she has the basketball IQ, and she has the heart, she has the flair, she has the showmanship or showwomanship, if you will. She knows how to entertain a crowd. Like, I'll never forget, Earl Pearl Monroe once said, once you learn your audience, you know how to best entertain them. And Gigi knows her audience. So she was in her bag on Wednesday night. She got teed up for after she went in for a layup and did, the little flex thing. And yeah, I mean, that game was not very well officiated, to be quite honest with you, because we're still calling basic spin moves a travel in the year of our Lord 2024. Why? I don't know. I really don't. But I think that'll go more into my hot take that I'll drop in a second. As far as the rest of that Ursuline team goes, there is potential there. Sanaa Johnson is a really good second option at point guard because Gigi had to go out for a little bit because that technical foul was her fourth personal foul. And of course, Coach Noonan didn't want her fouling out in the third quarter. So to the bench she went. But they didn't lose much of a beat because Sinai ran that point guard position very well. Jasmine Butler, who I didn't even know about prior to the game, found out she's a pretty good wing. And Nia Murphy, who came across from Pennsylvania, she gives them a big wing, like I mentioned last week. So there's parts there. There's Catherine Lang who can shoot. There's Claire Gordon who can shoot. Olivia O'Hara has improved her outside shot a little bit. So anybody thinking that this Ursuline team is weakened because of graduation and now the Taylor's gone, don't get your hopes up. This is still a really good basketball team. And Coach Noonan said he's just looking forward to the day when everybody, starts gelling and getting on the same page because, again, this is a whole new team around Gigi for the most part. So they've got to, best integrate those pieces to where Gigi can do her thing and still, have a supporting cast. And that supporting cast has potential. So I'm not at all convinced that Ursuline won't win it again this year. I mean, there are some other good teams out there. I mean, Caravel's still good. I haven't seen Sanford hasn't played yet, but I imagine they'll be good. St. Elizabeth, who they played on Wednesday night, wasn't bad. This was another team that was, getting, some continuity together. Skylar Bolden, of course, came over from Ursuline. She was out with a foot injury for like the second half of last year. Her footwork is still tremendous. Like for one of the few traditional bigs on the girls' side, her footwork is phenomenal. She still got a soft touch around the rim, and she can still shoot a jumper. So that's a big get for Ty in St. E. So it's just going to be a matter of them, putting all those pieces together. I mean, you still got Zamala Zeta Owens. Michaela Sullivan played really well. Troy Richardson, I was surprised at just how aggressive she was. So that St. E's team is going to be in the hunt. Like Ursuline is going to take some time for them to coalesce and get together as a team. And Coach Taylor, he's good at that type of stuff. So then not a doubt in my mind that St. E will definitely be in the conversation for a state championship, by the time we get to February and March. As far as my hot take goes, folks, let me put my Bernie Mac voice on. America, better enjoy Gigi Banks while you can. And I mean, Delaware, you better enjoy Gigi Banks while you can. Her talent just demands far more than what this state can give her right now. I mean, like I said, her basketball IQ is phenomenal for a 10th grader. I mean, she's gotten taller. She's like 5'10", 5'11" now. And again, she just has the sauce. I mean, there aren't many players of her stature walking around this state. In fact, I venture to say there aren't any players of her stature walking around this state. And we've got some talented girls. Don't get me wrong. We have plenty of talented girls. But Gigi is a one of one. And I think that at some point there is going to be that conversation whether she stays here or not. And I'm not, I know Coach Noonan is probably going to wring my neck when he sees me after he sees this, but her talent is just, it's otherworldly for what we've seen in Delaware. I mean, you can probably go back to Elena and Khadijah, for this level of, fanfare and it be justified. So enjoy Gigi Banks while you can, up close and personal. Buy your tickets. And of course, Ursuline did redo their gym, but parking on Pennsylvania Avenue in the Cold Spring area is still very scattershot, shall we say. So be sure you get there early. And if she's playing a road game, be sure you get there early and enjoy her talent, because we are going to be looking at this girl the same way we look at Elaine and the same way we look at Benijah Laney Hamilton. Am I saying that she has WNBA potential? Absolutely. It's really all going to depend on where she goes. But she's already, Dawn Stanley already knows who Gigi Banks is. So, yeah. Enjoy her while you can. She's been a blast to watch these last 2 going on 3 years. How much longer we'll have her remains to be seen. But that Ursuline team, once they, get together, once they all start playing on the same page, they're going to absolutely be worthy of defending that state championship and repeating. But still early in the season, of course, we only not everybody has really played yet. We've got some tournaments going on. DMA won their tournament. DMA beating Chester I feel like on the girls' side is a real confidence booster for Jeremy Gion and his girls, because that Chester team just bullied the mess out of Del Castle on a Thursday. And, because G Johnson was there. Shout out to my guy G, Mr. Strictly GP. If you guys have not gotten wind of his photographical talent, you need to hire him. He does great work. He was one of the first people that helped me launch First Day Hoops Report, and he still helps out from time to time. But he was there at the DMA tournament. He just said that Chester just bullied Del Castle. He was worried that DMA wasn't going to be able to hang with them. Well, DMA won 53-45 on Friday to retain their DMA Invitational Championship, and it's still a long ways to go, but you have to feel confident if you're Coach Gian and those girls, because you get some out-of-state competition. Of course, they're going down to Tampa, Florida later on during the Christmas holiday, so they'll really get a chance to test themselves. So this is a team that has designs on breaking that glass ceiling that AI, kind of cut through a little bit last year and making the Final Four. But they still got to go through St. E's in their own division. They still got to go through Archmere, who's going to be tough because Dan Pisani's girls do not know the meaning of the word quit. Conrad should still be very good with Eva Walker. That Diamond State girls division is really, really, slept on. I know St. E's is going to be the class of that division, but you still have DMA, you still have Conrad, you still have Archmere, so. But yeah, DMA winning their own tournament is huge for them. Dickinson boys, they had their tournament. They were able to defeat, who did they beat? Tatnall and Newark. And this was a Dickinson team that was percentage points away from making the state tournament a year ago. So don't count them out, because Flight B is not going to be the Little Sisters of the Poor in Howard as it once was. Howard is still very good. Howard is still the favorite to win Flight B. Don't get me wrong. But Glasgow's got some size and some talent. McCain surprised everybody last year, but they were able to, restock the lineup a little bit. Dickinson, it should be good again this year. Brandywine is the team I'm waiting on to jump up. I mean, I was surprised. I was actually surprised they lost to Caravel on Friday, but I'm still waiting for that Brandywine team to jump up and, make their intentions known. So there's a lot of talent, on the boys and girls side of things. And the AI tournament. Oh yes, the AI tournament. That was the one I really wanted to go to today, but of course I was again on SWAC championship duty, so I couldn't, just leave my job. But Smyrna beating the host AI DuPont by 35 and coming back from, an early double-digit deficit to beat a veteran Cape Henlopen team. That bodes well for Eric Gums and his girls. And the funny part about this is they play again on Tuesday. This time it counts. I mean, I'm not saying this game today didn't count, but it didn't count towards the Henlopen North because it was an unscheduled game. Because, I mean, when you're playing in an invitational tournament, you don't have any control who you play until you win the game or you lose a game. And you find out who you play in a consolation round, you find out who you play in a championship game. It turns out that Cape took care of business against St. Mark's, and Smyrna took care of business against the host AI. So who plays in the championship? Cape Henlopen and Smyrna. And that game on Tuesday, I mean, it's going to be interesting because they'll play in Lewis on Tuesday, and then they'll play again at Smyrna after the new year. I think that game is in January. Matter of fact, I think it's probably the first or second week in January. So they will have played 3 times during the year. So that is going to be an interesting points index scenario when it comes to the state tournament. I think this could probably be a bye busting situation, for that top 8, depending on how it shakes out. I mean, Smyrna's already got 1 win. Can Cape win 2 in a row, or will Ursuline, or will Smyrna win, sweep the whole thing? We'll have to wait and see. Tuesday should be a good game though. And who else did I want to mention? I think there was somebody. Yeah, I didn't get a chance. Yeah, the Dover William Penn boys game. Gary Lumpkin's guys only 7 deep because they're still waiting for clearances. That is once they get their whole lineup, that William Penn team is going to be extremely dangerous. Young, but extremely dangerous. Kendall Riley Garlic, Birdie, as they call him, his first varsity game went off without a hitch. Not too much, not much of a surprise there. Dover has enough depth to overcome Penn, but if I'm Flight A contenders, if I'm Middletown, if I'm Appo, if I'm St. George's, I've got my head on a swivel looking for the cherry and black. because Gary Lumpkin's guys, they always come to play. And now that they're going to have to, build with a younger lineup, they'll just only get better as the season goes along. I mean, they still have some veteran guys. I mean, of course, like I said last week, Andy Webb is a legit 6'5" and a shot blocker and a rebounder that can take the place of Emmanuel Bonham, who has since graduated. So I don't think that Flight A is solved by any stretch of imagination. I mean, we won't know who a championship contender will emerge in most of these conference races until I think the end of January at the earliest, because there's just so much depth. There's so much parity. There's so much balance. It may not look like it because the same four teams usually make the Final Four on the boys and the girls side, but there's still a lot of talent, spread out throughout the state to where you can have a surprise here or there. So very much going to be interested to see how this first week of the regular season goes. I'm probably going to, before I, go to bed tonight and finish editing up this. Actually, I don't need to edit so far. I'm doing a really good job just, going through my progressions, as it were, and talking about what I want to talk about. And, once I upload this, and I'll probably sit down and think about, okay, which game do I want to cover this week? Okay, which game do I want to cover next week? And we will see what happens from there. And I did want to talk about one last thing before I sign off. I did mention that I went to St. Elizabeth Ursuline on Wednesday, and I think we need to kind of sort of keep this issue of the press credentials and how some athletic directors and administrators treat people who are journalists or content creators in the forefront of our minds, because some folks are extremely nasty and they feel like nobody's going to call them on it because they work in education, and we all know educators have it rough. And I mean, there are a few people who do their jobs really well and do it with a smile, and some people do their jobs substandardly and have the nerve to have an attitude. Chief among them is the new St. Elizabeth athletic director. And yes, I'm calling him out, not by name, but you know who I'm talking about. So I get to St. E's on Wednesday, and he's not even at the front door. There's a couple other people at the front door. And one guy looks at my pass, because I still have the 2024 state tournament pass, because I'm still waiting for DIAA to approve me for a 24-25 pass. And he jokes with me. He says, "Oh, man, you could have made that in the parking lot." And I knew he was joking, though. It was cool. So I get to my usual spot in the corner, where I like that nice little corner in St. E's gym where you can set your bag down, set your coat down, and still have enough room to, maneuver with your camera and my notebook, because I take notes and I keep score. So I know how to, update people on Twitter and Instagram on who's scoring this many points, who scored that many points. So myself, G, I know TFA Media was there. Shout out to him. And we are just, myself, G, and Saheem Ross. Shout out to my guy, Uncle Thodad, working with Czech Rock. We all just politicking before the game. And here this dude comes staring at, my credential, like dude at the front door was joking about me. Like, he was joking. The dude at the front door was joking with me. But this dude, the new athletic director, who I've had problems with in the past, and I'll tell you more about that in a second, he just kept looking at my past like, he was going to kick me out or whatever. And he was like, "You might want to call DIA and get an update." What do you think I've been doing? Okay, so that's not the crazy part. So Saheem comes in, and he's got a day job. I mean, he works. I mean, he works as a teacher. So he came in, with his camera and everything. We just sitting there talking, and he's like, and here comes the AD again after Saheem comes over. And me and him and G are talking or whatever. And he's like, "Well, you don't have a credential." And Saheem is trying to explain to him he doesn't have a credential because he just got off of work and he didn't have time to go and get it from his house. And so this dude, without blinking, says, "Well, if you get pulled over by the cops, they're not going to care if you don't have your license." Think about that. Think about the color of the St. Elizabeth's athletic director and him saying that to a black man. Not to mention, during the pandemic, when he was sitting at the front door and I walked in with my bag and my camera, he said, "Oh, you here to clean the bathrooms?" He said that. That was in 2021, and I have not forgotten. I have the memory of an elephant. So if you have somebody in charge of your athletic program that does not respect people and has a tinge of what might appear to be racism, that person shouldn't be in charge. Period. But he's not the, there are some people around the state at different schools who are just very, very, like I said, nasty and disrespectful to people who are shooting or writing, and they feel like, they actually act like top flight security. If you've never seen Friday After Next, it's one of my favorite Christmas movies, which I'm due for a rewatch very, very soon. That Day-Day's character, and Day-Day, which is played by Mike Epps, is like top flight MF and security. That's how a lot of these some of these people act at the front door at these high school basketball games. And this is high school basketball. This is not the Grammys. This is not the Emmys. This ain't even the BET Awards. And y'all are acting like it's a matter of national security. And it's absolutely mind-boggling to me. Some of it is you don't respect basketball in the community in the basketball community, and some of y'all are just gross human beings. And I have no problem calling you out on it, because I've been doing this for far too long to have my work spit on, and I know other people feel the same way, because we all just looked at each other like, why? We just looked around like, why would he say that? And I'm just like, well, this is par for the course for him, because he asked me was I there to clean the bathrooms 3 or 4 years ago. So, there's just some people who are just like really, intent on chasing people away from basketball here in the state of Delaware. And that's cool if you want to do it, but don't get mad when your basketball team suck because the kids don't want to go there. And kids end up, transferring out of state, and basketball in Delaware it's climbing, but y'all are threatening to pull it right back down the mountain with some of this nastiness that y'all have. Where y'all don't want to respect people that are there to do a job, because none of us are there getting paid. And this is no shade to the content creators and the people who film stuff because parents are in scouts and trainers are hiring them. Get your money. I want you courtside. You have as much right to be there as myself as a journalist, because I'm doing this from a journalism perspective. But I don't have this issue with content creators where, oh, they're just getting in the way. If you are there shooting, if you're there working, I want you there with me. Cool, no problem. But there seems to be an issue that only exists when it comes to basketball. You don't have these issues in football. You don't have these issues in baseball. You don't have these issues in wrestling. You don't have these issues in lacrosse or field hockey or volleyball or swimming or cross country or track and field or anything else. It's always basketball where some of these people just start to flex their little authority and feel like they can be real evil and nasty to people who are just there to do a job. And I'm going to tell you, I ain't going to stand for it. I've been doing this for 22 going on 23 years. I have never had as much guff from ADs and people sitting at the front door of games than I have since I started First Day Hoops Report. And this is my 6th year of doing First Day Hoops Report. Like, it's not like people have not seen me before. Like, you can't miss this. I've had this as long as I've had First Day Hoops Report. Let me move the microphone so you can see this. I've had this goatee. Like, it is my freaking trademark. So you can't say you don't know who I am, because your coaches know who I am, your players know who I am, the parents and they know who I am. And just like the athletic director of St. Elizabeth knew who Saheem was, but just tried to give him a hard time for the sake of giving him a hard time. It's nasty work, and it's unacceptable. And if we band together as content creators, band together, not band, but band as in like form a band, if we band together and let people know that we are there to do a job and we're not there to cause any problems, but y'all continually treat us as if we are the problem, then maybe people will start to see that what we're doing this at a hazard. Because if people are just going to be nasty for the sake of being nasty, then people are just going to drop off the face of the earth and just stop doing it. And then people are like, wow, why doesn't this person shoot anymore? Wow, we don't see highlights from that person anymore. Look no further than some of these athletic directors and these administrators. And why the past the credential issue from a DIA standpoint is just as confusing now as it was before. That's really all I got. I hate to, talk about this stuff at length, but I have to talk about it because, I mean, I have a day job, which I enjoy very much. I could not leave my house and still make money. And a reminder, First Day Who's Report, I have not made a dime off First Day Who's Report. And I've been doing this for almost 6 years. I do it because I love it. I do it because I love going to the games. I love watching the kids play. I love talking to the coaches. I love talking to the players. I love the action in the stands, when people get fired up over a play. It's for the love of the game. But at the same time, sometimes when people do nasty stuff like ask you, are you there to clean the bathroom, or mention something about a traffic stop, which for black men and black people in general could be fatal, love ain't always enough. You gotta put yourself first. And I don't blame the people that do. And I'm starting to lean towards that direction myself. But it's just something that, it's a stain on the game that's unnecessary. Like, if people would just be respectful, ask kindly, okay, who are you shooting for? And what are you doing here? Or just like, who are you shooting for? What's your objective? Just ask questions without being a jerk about it. We'll answer happily. But if you want to be a jerk about it, then we have no choice but to hold your feet to the fire. And if your feet burn off, so be it. That's going to do it for this edition of Holden Court. Greatly appreciate y'all's time. As always, once again, contact information will be in the description below. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the gym at will this week. Saturday, I'm kind of booked again because Celebration Bowl, HBCU Sports. But Monday through Friday, you guys will probably see me at quite a few games this week. So if you see me, say hello. If you're an AD that does not have a problem with me, or if you're an administrator that doesn't have a problem with me, say hello. If you do have a problem with me, that's on you. Till next time we speak, y'all take care of yourselves and each other.